Welcome to FSB Racing. Welcome to Las Vegas. Welcome to week 10. It's beautiful. It's sunny, just like last week at Phoenix. And you know what that means. The track is hot and it's going to be slick again. I know Milt and I have been watching these guys slip and slide around the track for the last hour now. Hopefully they've got it figured out to maybe lay down enough rubber to give them some traction. But only time will tell. Speaking of Milt, he's right here in the booth with me. Say what's up. There we are. Say what's up, Milt. All right. Let's get some things going here. All right. There we go. All right. What do you think tonight, Milt? What's it looking like? I know you're up there talking to the drivers. What are they saying about this track right now?
Yeah, I talked to the guys. They're talking somewhere in that same window that we're kind of used to with mile and a half, between 30 and 33 laps, maybe more if you stretch it out. So, we're gonna have to see if they get green flag runs. Who's gonna, you know, do a Matt Watkins? Wait a minute, Matt Watkins is in this race.
He's
So,
in the house. Matt Watkins is in the house.
and that Mister, I could say feel or go faster than you, whatever I feel like, is in the house.
Well, let's see where he's starting tonight. If I can get the grid pulled up here. Well, in the meantime, let's check out the track temperature. As of right now, it is sitting at 117 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, very similar to Phoenix. I'm sure we can probably expect a lot of the same as far as traction. But nonetheless, they're here, and they're going to give it their best shot. I think earlier, Shane Wisman was talking about the right front being an issue tonight. It seems to wear out pretty quick. So that's something they got to contend with.
Pushing like a dump truck.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, I heard him talking about, iRacing updates. So you got updates, which are usually, changes, maybe to tires. All these, when they have these updates, they're always trying to improve stuff. And then you got the fixed setup in the running, Did they just come up with that one too? So a lot of these guys probably don't have a lot of laps except for maybe today and in practice to figure out the setup and how the tires are going to work.
No, that's a good point. It's a very good point. Here I have pulled up the qualifying results. Matt Watkins on the pole. Tony Brewer in second. He was our last. He won our race last week. Congrats again, Tony. Mitchell Semedo, P3. Shane Wisman in fourth. Justin Bird in fifth. Some real top contenders there. A lot of these guys haven't been racing with us for very long, but they fit in very well. Craig Stuka, excellent driver. Bryce Saucier. Mitchell, he's raced with us a few times, and Tony Brewer. They're all great. They've been excellent competitors out there on the track, excellent sportsmen, and we're very lucky to have them here, and very glad to have them here.
Yeah, we definitely got some old veterans in too. Sean Reap, Jeff Hale. I mean, Sean Reap's won just about everything at FSB. iRacing's a new, task for him. So, and the venerable one there, Pops Margison, T.G. Reese, a longtime veteran, and of course Jeff Hale, all rounding up that 18 to 14. Jeff Hale at one time was the speedway master of this league. So he's still got a little left in the tank, I think.
No doubt about it. It's also interesting to see that from 11th on back, like those guys did not qualify. So I think they see the writing on the wall that, maybe hang back, be patient, and see what kind of positions you can advance just by staying out of the mix. That's a common tactic that I've used before. It's worked out for me. Sometimes, other times I've just found myself in the dog pile with everyone else. But not a bad strategy, in my opinion. And if you notice, they're all veteran FSB members that that did that.
Well, you would figure Matt would either try for the pole or do the same. So today he tried for the pole. He usually likes to either be in the back or in the front, not anywhere in the middle. Cuts down your, odds of disaster. So,
Very true.
I expect them to really try to give each other space at first and work into it, in theory, but they are definitely, struggling a little bit with figuring out the handling, especially for your first few laps.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. Get those tires warmed up and maybe it'll stick better. I don't know. But aside from tires, what are we looking at for fuel?
Well, what I'm hearing is, around 30 to 33 laps, and that's also going to be using your tires up at the same time. So that's the number that they gave me. If they're not, I would say, that's what the computer is telling them when they've been running laps. But, to run, a complete run, their tires might fall off and they might be able to do some, fuel saving and make it farther than that. Obviously with the math and 80 laps, if you could get to 40 and there was no caution, that's pretty optimistic with this track as fast as it is and how easy it is just to slip up a little and get into somebody or lose your arrow, off of somebody else.
Yep, no doubt.
Well, I remember Matt Watkins resisting iRacing a little bit and then kind of committing and saying, you know what, when I'm ready, then I'm going to go for it 100%. And
he's done it.
He kind of swept up in NASCAR 2003 completely, and then now he's all in.
Yep. All right, here we go. We're on a green. Everybody seems to be staying on the track thus far. Some people are taking the high line. Well, the 93 car looking to make some moves there around Wisman. And Shane's not going to let him have it that easy.
'93 was not afraid to go right up the top there right away.
No, not at all.
You see guys want to try to stay down low at first and then, then they get braver as the cars get tighter to try to run up top.
Yeah.
The grip level on the high side of the track is so much more realistic in this sim. You can actually drive like you see on Sunday.
Right.
You see these guys all taking various lines trying to keep the air on the cars because even in sim racing, that's important. They're constantly working to make this as realistic as possible.
Yeah, well, they do a really good job. iRacing's a heck of a sim. It's definitely come a long way since NASCAR Racing 2003.
Well, this first group is taken off from the other guys there. Quite a gap back. Sean Reap making inroads.
Let's check
He's
on
not
Sean.
laying about, starting
Yeah.
from the rear. Yet Sam Young kind of went backwards there.
Yeah, he's a patient driver. If he's laying back, if he's behind the lead pack, it's because he wants to be.
I think, with Sam Young, he has that old TSW wheel. It seems to work really well for him on short tracks in iRacing, but he's still trying to wrap his head around it on these speedways a little bit.
Yeah.
These guys all have varying different types of equipment. Really super high-tech virtual rigs to just a small screen in front of them.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I remember my first wheel. I think it wasn't the Momo. That was my second. The first, I want to say maybe it was a Sidewinder. But
yeah, that was
I
mine.
could be,
that was mine.
I could be wrong. I have to go back and check, but the wheel that I raced with the most prior to the one I have now was the Momo, which was awesome in like what 2005, 2006. That was one of the better wheels you could have.
Yeah, for the 2003 Stem, it was right on, and so was the TSW. Very good with adjustable size wheels, belt driven. I think the technology and how much you want to spend has gone up. Somebody down there, is that Guy Pitra on the apron?
Good question. Yeah, he's a little behind.
Didn't catch that.
So it looks like Guy went to the pits and it's showing him a lap down. Not sure when he went in or why, but he may have got a black flag. He may have had to serve a penalty for something.
Yeah, a red Shelby Cobra there with the familiar Cobra stripes. Got a picture of signature. That was Bacardi 151 number. Well, once again, Mama, there's that guy in the 12. Just really, every time I see him run, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, Tony's a great driver. Last week he had his sister checking in, so I'm not sure if she's out there now, but if she's out there or if anybody's out there that wants to cheer on their favorite driver, be sure to drop us a line.
Watkins back to 6 there. There's usually always a method to his madness. I think he thought, okay, we made it the first couple laps here. We could conceivably go green. Now I need to get back there a little bit and do some fuel saving. That's how he thinks. I've usually lost against him, but a few times he's actually been my teammate in road racing, and he's always on top of strategy and always thinking.
Yeah, that's always, or that's never been my strong suit, rather. Strategy, thinking long term.
No, me neither.
Which is something you really need to have if you want to win in this league. The few times I've won, it was just pure luck. It's not because I formulated some awesome strategy. It's because I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. And the right people wrecked at the right time, or a caution came out at the right time, and I was able to pull it off. But yeah, I certainly don't have the racing IQ that some of these guys have out here.
Yeah, you got to drive and think. Can't just drive.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. True.
And you got to press buttons. You know, a lot of these guys, like, you know, Ken Soska has a button cluster where he has pre-programmed buttons. He knows he can, and he uses virtual, so he can look around, look outside of his car, left and right. He can look down at his dash real time, and he can also, you know, he knows where those buttons are, so he can press them while he's got that
Oh,
VR
we got
on.
we got
And
a caution. Got a caution out
oh
here.
boy,
Let's see who we got. Ooh, it looks like Matt Watkins is around. All right.
wowzer!
Let's take a look at that in the replay here, so we can figure out what exactly happened to Matt.
Hey, a quick note, guys. I'm just jumping in real quick that Guy Peter had actually dropped, and that's when he came back in. And I'm
Thank
watching the
you.
cast. I'm watching the cast, so I'm not driving. I always enjoy watching the cast. Great job, guys. Keep it up. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Sam.
Hey, if you could try to share your screen on there.
Yeah, the computer's not strong enough, Milty. I would
That's
have
not
already.
okay. No
Yeah,
problem, bro.
it'll die right away. I'm working on that new cop, guys.
Right
Thanks
on.
again for the broadcast. You guys are awesome.
Yep.
Looks like Matt and I think that's the 93 got together there. He's kind of just pushing him down the track here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very uncharacteristic. You could see smoke coming off the 93 like he's on the brakes,
Yeah. Yeah,
but by
he's
then
definitely
he's
on the
just hooked
brakes.
on the 15's door.
Yeah, he's definitely on the brakes. I'm not sure that either one of them really knew what to do right there. Um, yeah, that's a tough one, but I think Matt walked away with very little damage because he stopped right before the wall. Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah, he should be able to get
I
that
think
fixed
he's, yeah, I think he's all right. I think he's all right.
and get new freshies. I've been told, including the set that you start with, you get 4 sets. So that'd be 1 set. So he'll be on set number 2, and he'll have 2 more sets left for the race. Which you'll have to think a little bit about how you want to use them.
Right.
Definitely want to be on freshies at the end.
Yeah, no doubt.
That looked pretty uncharacteristic of Matt there, but I mean, I'm just an announcer, but it looked like the 93 really was just in his line, had nowhere to go. And I think Matt came up, thought he was clear, or Spotter told him he was clear. I mean, there was nothing I think the 93 could do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a tough
And
one,
that's,
but
obviously, how Matt rolls, but nobody perfect. And
yeah, but they both walked
stuff
away with
happens quick.
minimal damage. So I don't see it really.
Well, I'm impressed with that start.
Yeah, unless something happened that I didn't see, or the sim somehow gave them more damage than what was actually shown, then I think they
Yeah.
should be okay.
Plus, they'll probably have enough time to come in and you can get it worked on and, get part of it worked on a little bit.
Right.
It'll tell you how much damage. And if you think you're going to go a lap down, you're going to go in the back anyway, probably. So, that's funny because me and Ken Soska were, I guess Ken was on ESSA. I haven't listened to it yet, but I think he was on as a caller actually talking to Larry Mack. And he recorded it, but I didn't get a chance. But I was telling my French Canadian buddy, my road racing buddy from our Donkey Bob team about it, and he was like, "Who's Larry Mack?" And I go, "You don't know cautions breed cautions. The Trans cautions don't breed cautions here because I think that was a really good start for these guys. Aside from that second pack kind of getting, all it takes is getting loose a little bit, and everybody else has to check up if they,
So where does that put him on fuel now? I think that caution happened around lap 15.
Well, you would have to think everybody got fuel and tires.
That's enough to get them to the end, one more stop, I think.
Exactly, yeah. That'll take you to, say, if you get 33, that'll be 51 laps, and that'll get you within
Yep.
29 laps of the end. So anywhere in that area, you could, as they go green. Honestly, I didn't pay attention. I'm assuming they all got tires. I would be very shocked if they didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure they did at this point.
Once I get a computer and I get back on iRacing, I'll definitely do a better job as a broadcaster. Because I'm kind of winging it here, you know.
That's all good.
So I'm going to miss some stuff. But I think, you know, all the broadcasts that me and Sean Reed did, I think people liked it more when I messed up than, and Sean would tell me, no, Mel. That's not how it's going to be. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I just roll with it, right?
They liked our little banter in the booth. Well, it's Bird and Brewer back up there now, and Stewart was up front there for just a little bit. Wistman flagged the flag at Coda.
3 wide here. Looks like Bryce and Matt, they're still doing all right. A little contact there with Chet, I believe, between Bryce and Chet. But
Chet Barkin in that purple car starting to move up. Oh, 4 wide.
Yep, that wreck didn't phase them too much. It looks like their cars are doing just fine.
Yeah. Chester Barkin and Mr. Saucier, they're door banging a little.
Yep. We have 8 people watching this live right now.
Right on, right on.
If you're out there, hit us up in the chat. Say something. Say anything.
I tell you what impresses me.
Just don't tell us we suck.
Yeah, you know, you can say I suck if you want.
Nah.
I won't quit, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not gonna. I won't fire you, Milt. Don't worry.
What impresses me is like knowing, you know, personally, being in contact with the donkey guys, you know, Saska, Pitra, and Chet, you know, and how much they run, you know, in various stuff in iRacing. And, you know, it just shows how good the competition is because, I mean, they get great finishes out there with some, you know, they have some really decent ratings, you know,
Yep.
So they're racing against really good competition. And, you know, they're battling for top 10s in this league, and that shows you how good these guys up front are.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Just judging them off of that and what I see these guys run on a weekly basis in NIS and trucks and different stuff, it's impressive.
Look at Pops here holding it down in 14th, falling close behind TG. Maybe looking at passing TG.
Yeah, Pops Martinson's been here like forever.
Yep.
And not without event, you know. I mean, he's had, you know, a lot of setbacks and always ends up getting back on the track. And, you know, it's something that he, you know, really looks forward to and works hard to be able to do and be competitive.
Yep.
And you notice, you know, I mean, I've noticed throughout my career from when I was in my 30s to now being, you know, twice that age, You just don't have the, reaction time. You don't have, your brain just don't work as good. Your feet don't work as good. Your hands don't work as good.
Yep.
Where you're simulating it or for real, you have to, throughout evolve in your career of what, you're capable of. Pops was a guy that regularly qualified on pole and Trans Am, and he's a Trans Am champion at FSB.
Yep. Got Kayla checking in with us. Who are you here to see, Kayla?
Welcome, welcome. Watching Ken Soska a lot, his style is, second half of the race kind of stuff, and working on that. Teammates there together, Chet Barkin, and they see Matt Watkins up there. When you're on the track and you see the 15, you generally try to do what the 15 do, Because he's got a reason for everything. Obviously, he didn't want to crash there, but
yeah. Well, happens to the best of them. Kayla's here. Kayla's here for Justin Bird. Well, that's a good person to be cheering on right now because he's currently in first. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera on him for a minute so you can watch him turn a few laps. But
he's always at the front.
He's always racing, he is.
These guys are good. He's racing against, and he's always got a chance to win.
Man, I keep talking about it, but that battle he had for second place at Circuit of the Americas was insane. It was him and Rob and one other driver. And man, if you haven't seen that battle, like, go watch it because it's
in the YouTube archive.
Yeah, it is so much fun to watch those guys go at it. And I'm sure we're going to see more of that tonight. He's got Tony Brewer behind him and Shane Wisman behind Tony, so guaranteed to be some action towards the end of this race.
Well, you see, they're resigned to just stay close and run and go single file here. Everybody is realizing that whoever has the best tires later in this run is going to get out there, and if you get a green flag stop and execute that, you can put yourself in great track position.
I think the pit stops here are a little tricky, especially if it's going to be a green flag stop. I saw a few guys practicing their pits during practice, and they were having a hard time. They're having a hard time keeping it on the track, keeping it straight, coming into the pits, and finding that sweet spot to get off the track. So I'd be curious to know what that looks like with, 17 drivers out there on the track.
13 starting to use the higher line a little bit. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but that brings the other two cars a little closer. Well, I watched the end. I had a tape, so I watched the end of the real race from Sunday, and the real guys were speeding tickets were like double digit amounts of guys compared to like single digits the year before. So they were definitely really trying to push that, and these guys are going to try to do the same thing. And generally what you do is you practice a little bit, then you try to get in that practice before the race, you try to get one or two at least simulated pit stops in before the race. But then you got to go run all this time and then pull pull a green flag stop. As you can see, just, I'm a little behind here with what I'm watching, but I was watching the in-car of Tony Blake as he Brewer as he went by pit road there, and that's not an easy see out the cockpit.
It's not at all. Speaking
You
of
have
Tony,
to
we got
find a
his.
marker like on the wall or a light post or
Yeah.
a lot of times something on the right, a sign. That's when I'm slowing down right there. And then you just got to on faith start to make that turn. And then maybe you get it straightened out where you can lift off the brakes a little and then pound them right before and
Yep.
get that thing down to second gear and, 3,500 RPM or whatever, depending on the pit road speed. I think it's 45 here.
Yep. You got to find your mark, and then you got to make it happen. That's the tricky part. Speaking of Tony, we got his sister here checking in, cheering him on. So it's good to see you out there, Kinsey.
Right on, thank you.
Got Lawrence Sonnenberg checking in, cheering on Justin. Justin's got some fans tonight. A lot of support.
Well, he should, because
you're right. He should.
Phenom here.
Yeah.
And it's been these three guys basically in this early part of the season, almost every race. And what impresses me is they're also, super fast on road courses.
Yeah.
So they've got the whole package.
They got it all. Ooh, is that Shane Wisman ducking low?
How about Sean Reap up to sixth place? Now, you got to understand something. This is a guy that, back in NASCAR 2003, you were forced to use the roof cam. And, I'm not sure if he was able. I think there are, but basically you have to run cockpit. I'm not sure what he runs, but still, to go from, having something mastered and then be willing to start over again. If you're a rookie, I knew it just would take a matter of time because, nobody knows more about racing history than this dude. Nobody loves, he knows all these ins and outs of the 80s, 90s, and before. And he's been to a lot of races. And
yep, sure enough.
He's a multiple champion at FSB. These are right in his wheelhouse, too. He gets this figured out, you better look out. He's right there working Stuka now.
Well, look at that. Justin's got another fan. Might have to get this guy he's gonna start making t-shirts or something.
Heck yeah.
He's got quite the following. Maybe a coffee mug. I don't know.
Well, if you look at that race, Coda, and dude was putting on a show sideways.
Oh yeah.
What amazed me was that he was still, as much as he used that car up, you're still staying right there, for second place. Wisman was he was like Mark Donahue back in the day, just smooth, analytic, and like a machine. And, Bird was more like A.J. Foyt, sideways every corner. Or Parnelli Jones. Markin and Soska, they kind of a gap there between them guys. You got to figure, as much as you wouldn't think, by this time, guys' tires are acting different, how hot do you get them right away? Just where you lift, how you get the car planted. You can go fast for a few laps, and
yeah.
they're really focusing on that right front. And I think that works right in Reap's wheelhouse, because typically the old NASCAR 2003 fixed setups were hard on the right front. They pushed. So you had to, learn how to drive the car to save that tire.
Yeah, you had to learn how to do it. There's something cooking here with this second pack. They're gaining on the top three here. Tomato,
Yes, they
Stuka,
are.
and Reap. They're making some progress. They're up to something.
Sitting back like that, saving tires, that's how that pans up. Reap did use some stuff to get up there a little bit, and he's been following in the wake of the 66. You have to wonder if maybe that's starting to get his right front angry a little bit. As you see, the 8 and the 66 kind of pretty much predetermining their lines so that they both get air on the nose.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
Yeah, Sean's falling off just a little bit, but Matt Watkins is creeping up, as Matt tends to do.
Conceivably, pit stops could be coming, depending on the...
Well, look at this. We got Shane Wisman in the pits right now.
And there you have it. If it was me, I would like to stay out a little bit longer, but the odds of a caution small right here, so you're going to lose time. So what we call this is an undercut.
Yep.
He's undercutting the field.
There goes Sean Reap.
Fresh tires.
We got Sean Reap, Stuka, and Tony Brewer.
Yeah, probably a good idea. You don't want to, it's one lap there, but you stay out a little bit longer. Some of the guys back, it might be worth the risk.
Yeah.
Reap coming in hard there. Don't fear the Reaper. Man, he hates that. When he hears this broadcast, he's like, I haven't heard that before.
He's going to come after you. All right, Justin Bird hitting the pits. Matt Watkins still
you
out
get
there.
to see your pit crew around you. With the graphics limitations here, we don't get to see them buzzing all around the car. And in iRacing, it's a little bit less complicated in the pits as far as running into each other, which I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. In iRacing, there's no like object collision like in the pits, meaning like if a car is in their pit box, you won't hit them if you happen to drive through them. It's certainly not like 2003 where you could make contact and it could.
Here comes Matt Watkins.
Gravely affect your position.
I'm a little behind. Sorry.
All good. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Matt Watkins is in the pits now,
and that's right at 33 laps. So he's gonna have about 28 to go. 27, somewhere around there. So, can he turn on the speed?
I didn't see how many tires he took there.
How much time did he lose staying out per lap? Will there be another caution and bring that stuff out, or a caution?
Kevin May is our leader right now, getting his extra point. I don't think we've ever explained how the points work in this series, but essentially you get 1 point for being on the pole, 1 point for leading a lap, and also 1 point for most laps led. That's how you can make up some points if you happen to be behind in the series. There's also just regular points for finishing first, second, and third, and so on. I don't have the exact breakdown here in front of me, but that's essentially how you can get some extra points and kind of make up that difference if you're close behind somebody else.
Well, looks Mays finally did his stop, and the first pitter is going to assume the lead now. Wisman, nice strategy move there.
Yeah,
Put him in
Shane's.
a decent tire wear window. Stuffing it full of Sunoco fuel.
All right, if you're out there and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We're at 29 subscribers. I want to hit 30. That's a nice even number. So come on, 30. Also give us a thumbs up. Anything you do helps us. Yeah, Matt's pulled out just a little bit from this other pack with 25 laps to go.
Well, I mean, even though he stayed out longer, Watkins did make some positions up here, but still, he's got a lot of track to catch up. So he's really gonna have to push it. You got to figure Shane is going to just drive it hard here. They kind of know by now how hard they can push it because they experienced, the end of the tire run there on those pit stops. And that's actually, I think, the first race where I actually, called when they were going to pit at the right time. So we're getting somewhere.
Making progress.
Making progress. Yeah, and a big gap there. I think Mays went a lap down there.
Yeah, we got 3 cars a lap down. Looks like Kevin, Pops, and Guy are not on the lead lap right now. So they could, one of them, probably Kevin, could use a caution to get back on the lead lap.
Still, Sean Reap in P5 there. I'm really impressed with that. And, he made a spot on Stuka there. And I think the big loser of that was the 8.
Oh, we got a caution. Looks like it might be Jeff Hill as the source of this caution. Yep. There he is, sitting on the track.
Well, that's what Matt Watkins wanted, and a
Yeah.
lot of these guys.
Let's go back and check and see if we can figure out what happened to Jeff.
Whoa, Mew. The graphics and oh yeah, Jeff Hale parked on the track there.
It's like
The
Matt,
veteran.
or Shane rather, goes low. Oh, yep. And Jeff, I believe. Let's see here. Shane comes up and just catches him ever so slightly, but it's enough to send him around. But again, I don't think there was much damage.
Oh wow, there. Yeah, that's just really looked
Ooh.
odd, dude.
No, he
I
caught
mean,
the wall. He caught the wall. Yeah.
yeah, he caught him all right, but it was almost like he thought he still had room to like arc the corner a little bit
Yeah.
because Shane obviously didn't think he was that close because he turned right and popped Jeff Hale real good.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a tough one. I'm sure Shane, obviously you don't do that on purpose. Poor old Boyd cars going by. The veteran, he got on the binders there and kept his car in one spot.
Yep. Well,
A spot, two ways to go by.
in the meantime, let's check in with Kevin. Let's check in with Kevin Mays and get his perspective of things that are happening out there. Can you hear us, Kevin? Might be having some radio issues.
The FSB booth. You got a copy, Kevin?
Kevin may be off the track right now.
It stops.
Oh, we'll come back to Kevin. Maybe we'll try Ken Soska here. See if Ken knows anything. If I can move him up here. All right, we're going to check in with Ken Soska. Ken, can you hear us?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Awesome, man. So, how's things going out there?
Pretty good. Little slick in the beginning, and then it tightens up a little too tight later. But yeah, I'm just kind of biding my time here, and I guess this is when push comes to shove. So we'll see what we all can do.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, keep being patient out there. Keep avoiding contact and avoiding wrecks, and I think you'll come out pretty good in the end.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, buddy. We'll
good
move you
luck,
back.
Ken. This is Melty running your typical race there, but you got to be impressed with this competition. Considering I know you run like NIS and stuff and get good finishes there, you're in a battle here.
You know what? These cars are harder to drive than the A car. Absolutely, at this track.
All right, Ken. Well, hey, man, we'll move you back before you take the green.
Oh, man, thanks.
Good luck.
Leading the lap here, or if he's just going to go for it with, you're talking about 10-lap tires. Maybe he's just going to, I don't know if he's a lap. No, he looks like he's on the lead lap. So goes off, and he is staying up there, bro.
Running 3 wide here. This might get interesting. Got another Tony Brewer fan out there.
Well, what do we have here? There goes that man in the 15.
Yeah, where'd he come from?
I don't know, he moves around a lot, but I think originally South Carolina. Far from Darlington Raceway.
Yeah.
And, if you've been around a while, you've seen this movie before. But Brewer and Bird aren't laying about here. That veteran. I realized to save Matt Watkins veteran, but I remember, I think he just had peach fuzz when he first started in this league.
Oh, we got a Matt Watkins fan out there in the chat.
The winningest driver in FSB history by far.
Oh, yeah.
Most championships, most wins. I bet he has twice as many wins as I have.
Oh, I bet he has 100 times many wins as I have. Easily. Shane's a tough one to beat. Yeah, he's He's just tough out there. I don't know what else I can really say.
Well, Bird makes short work of that, but now he's got a bigger project in front of him. Trying to get to the back of the 34. Watkins, great strategy, great track position, but you know, short run speed. So we'll have to see if he can pick it up here after they get a few laps on these tires.
Yep. Mitchell Semedo there pushing Matt pretty hard. 11 laps to go.
Yeah, you see that
glow on him.
race by Mitch. So it's go time now.
All right, let's see what Justin's got. Coming up on 10 to go.
Side by side with Watkins and Justin closes in on the deck lid of the 34. Something for raw talent. You know, everything I've seen from the 13 is this guy just like, just don't see those every day. All these guys are really good, you know, by the way. Every single car on this track. Well, you try to draft down the straightaway, and then you want to find the opposite lane the other guy's running. Wisman carefully closing the door there and taking the air off. He's not deterred there.
Justin's looking for a way. He's working on him
Wisman's
pretty
doing
hard.
what I would probably do, and that's still defend the bottom.
Well, I think Justin may have just made his move there. If he can keep it on the low. Oh, gosh. Man, he's giving that car all
More
it's
of an
got.
outside in. Oh, wow.
He's giving it all it's got right now. Both these guys are, but man, I'm telling you, look out for Matt Watkins. He's creeping up.
Exactly what he wants to see, and you know, maybe he just doesn't fire off good.
Yeah, he wants to see these guys racing. Justin, I think, is going to make the pass clean. But Shane is giving him a good run. Gosh, if you're tuned in right now, don't go anywhere, because this is going to get crazy.
Typical FSB show at the end. Knew exactly what he wanted to do, and now he wants these guys going side by side, using their stuff up.
Yeah.
I don't think Shane wanted that outside. I think he was more comfortable on the inside there, and he got past.
Matt's got to run. And these guys are, like I said, they're giving it all they got.
They're giving it all they got, Captain. Can't take much more.
They just can't do it. Justin's trying hard to defend. He's doing a really good job. This is incredible to watch.
Gosh, you know.
It's getting a little tight there with Matt.
You can see that the 34 wants to stay down. Kind of got beat there. Well, yeah, that was real close, as I'm a little behind there.
Oh,
Right
Justin's got
outside
a
there, he's getting past on the inside.
yeah. Justin's got a heck of a fan club behind him. So
Well, you know, cheer it on, baby. Let's go.
yeah, he may pull it off. I'm thinking it's looking good for him right now with 3 to go.
Got sponsors there. He's got all the DeWalt people. He's got all the fans, and you know, is this the DeWalt 400 here or what?
I say he gets a free set of tools if he wins. I don't know.
You know, my tools are DeWalt.
Good stuff.
Love the power tools.
All right, 2 to go. I'm liking his. I'm liking the lead he's got right now. He's got to feel good about it.
Reminds
But
me of a guy like named Damian Gottstilla back in the day. It was one of the just brutally fast guys. Separated himself, and all I'm seeing from Justin Bird is this: when he turns it on, I mean, he just has that ability to push it right to the end here. But
oh, he
here
knows
comes the
what
veteran
to do.
Matt Watkins is not finished yet.
Matt is working on him hard, and Matt's got a little bit left. Like he's not all the way gone, and I think he might have just a touch more than Justin. But Justin's trying. Oh, they're getting a little touch, a little contact, but all is good. All is good. Coming around here, I think this is it. Is he going to have enough for a run? I think Justin's going to get him. Oh, Justin got him. Wasn't pretty in the end.
They had contact on the back straight there.
Wasn't pretty in the end, but
contact in the corner. Wow.
Yeah, but Justin's going to walk away with it. There's a wheel right now rolling up the track. Not sure whose that is, but oh, he's got to be happy with the way that worked out. Yeah, that was insane. That was insane.
Watkins gets nailed by Rob Stewart, and there's I'm behind there.
Oh my gosh.
Take the fine time to leave me loose, wheel.
What a finish.
And somebody almost nailed that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw parts going everywhere. I couldn't. Oh man.
Pushes Justin Bird over the line.
What just happened?
You guys duked it out. That's hard ass racing right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it is. That was such a good run between the top 3 there.
And Stuka gets on the podium past Wisman. Wisman's car really faded at the end there.
Yeah, Stuka getting that podium.
We can take a look at that real quick before we get the drivers. See if you can go back and take a look what happened there. I'd like to see this replay again, too.
Yeah, let me see what I can find here. I'd be curious to know how that all worked out.
I want to see this pass for 3rd and 4th, if you don't mind. We got time. The Justin Bird fan club is in session. He did not disappoint.
All right, here's a replay. There's Stuka working his way past Wisman. And
you don't understand who he beat. I mean, when you talk FSB, the next words that come out of your mouth is Matt Watkins. That's it. All the great drivers that have raced here. Wow.
Let's see if we can get a little nose cam here, or maybe a little in-car. We can figure out what happened.
This is definitely something I'm gonna wait. Until it uploads, and I'm gonna watch this whole broadcast tonight. Of course, I'm not working right now, so it sucks, but that means I got time. Put it on my brand new big screen and.
That's right. Riding along with Matt Watkins here. The very end. Looks like he went a little bit low. He tried to get him behind him, but I don't think it really worked out. Dang.
Well, Justin did what he needed to do. He defended low, and Matt did what he needed to do. He put a bumper on him. He tried to get him loose, wrecking him.
Let's see if we can.
Watkins bangs into the side of Justin there. He's like, "We're coming to the line. I'm nailing you. I don't care." But didn't get the win, but they tore up some imaginary race cars
Yeah, no
and
doubt
put on
about
a
it.
show.
That they
What's up,
did.
guys?
I'll take
Hey,
that.
what's up? That sounds like Justin. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm actually pulling your car up now to put it in victory lane.
I had
Yeah,
to
we're
watch the
watching the
replay a couple
replay
times.
over and
Yeah,
over.
I keep watching it myself.
yeah, that
Dude,
was,
that was worth many shots. I'm gonna watch it again when it uploads on YouTube.
yeah,
I
that
don't know if he
was,
was mad at me or what there at the end, but no, that was hard racing.
yeah, that was definitely some hard racing. Can't say for sure what happened there, but trying to get the results here pulled up now.
Well, I mean, you did what you had to do. You defended, and he laid a bumper on you on the back, and he
Yeah,
got you again in turn 3. He was trying to move you out the way, and you kept your line. That was great driving.
yeah, I figured it was
So
coming. I knew he wasn't gonna make it easy, so I just had to hold my ground and push.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
I mean, every single race I've watched you race, Justin, is just amazing. And these guys are, they're good drivers.
Oh
All
yeah,
right, so
very good competition.
we got Craig in here with us. Who we missing? I guess Matt. Um, I don't see Matt. I think he might have already dipped out for the evening. But Craig, tell us about your run. You managed to get the third place there, making your way past Shane there at the end. It looks like you have more left than he did. So how
Hey,
things
yup,
go out there for you?
I snuck by at the end there somehow. I knew I was gonna catch the 8 on those last 10 laps, but I don't know, wasn't expecting third for sure.
Oh man, that was a good run. How was it out there for you, like tire wise? Did you use all three of all three sets, or did you
Yep,
try to save
I
some?
took tires every pit stop. I wasn't sure if we were taking tires that last pit stop, but I just followed everyone else. Thank
Yeah,
God.
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm not so sure this is a track where you can just take two. I'm pretty sure you have to take all four if you're going to take any at all. Um,
Oh yeah, for
otherwise,
sure.
otherwise your car would just be even more difficult to drive than it already was. But it looks like maybe the track cooled down a little bit as the evening wore on. I know during practice it was tough for guys to make it around. They were slipping and sliding everywhere. But as maybe some rubber got laid down and the track cooled down, people definitely found a way to keep it on the track and keep the car facing forward. But
Yeah, Craig, great run. Very patient. You and the 8 both were kind of biding your time with the 15 back there and letting these guys duke it out. Obviously, that caution worked out good for you guys to have a shot. And I'm sure, were you like on the edge from there on, just driving it as hard as you could?
Oh yeah, those last 10 laps I was pushing it. This whole run though, I was running the bottom just trying to play catch up with everyone. I was just, behind the pack the whole time.
Yeah, those green flag stops. Definitely, some guys made moves either by undercutting or some guys just I mean just shows how difficult it is to make those stops here in Las Vegas. But that was a complete race from you guys. Of it had it all. It had green flag stops, had timely cautions, good hard racing. That was a great product and great run, Craig. Good to see you out here. Hope to see you next week.
yeah,
Yep, for sure. That was a lot of fun. That was a great race.
yeah, you guys certainly made the best of it. And Craig, we're always happy to have you out here. You're a competitive driver, and we hope to see you next week.
Awesome. I'll be here.
All right, Justin. I know we've briefly talked about your run, but is this your second win here, or your third?
In this series, I believe third.
Your third.
Of course,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. I knew it was either 2 or 3. Well, first off, you had a fan club out there. You had a you had a whole fan club in the chat, which is pretty awesome. I said we should start making you shirts or like coffee mugs or something. And some people said they would buy them. So so you have quite the support group, which is awesome. We love to see that. But yeah, man, same thing for you. I can assume that you used all 3 sets of tires.
Oh, absolutely. The tires are very, very important here today.
Yeah, no doubt. Did you change up your line as the race went on? Like, it versus, would you change how you ran on the track when you had new tires versus when your tires got a little wear on them?
Well, the first like 5 to 8 laps, really 10 laps, and just take it kind of easy and just try not to get the tires too hot. And everybody else I noticed was kind of rolling middle to high, and I was just real comfortable hooking the bottom, not pushing it super hard, just going towards the end of the run where I could pick up a little bit more. I felt like that the others when they were running the outside, I was just able to conserve my tires a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an excellent battle with everybody up there. Had a lot of fun. I don't know what happened with the 15. I mean, we were running good and never had any problems with him. I reckon he's not too mad at me, but guess everybody can be the judge of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was just hard racing there at the end.
I felt like
Yeah,
I
that's
got
what I
hooked,
thought.
but hey,
I mean, that's the way it goes sometimes.
could have won it.
But
Well, I was impressed with. Yeah, I noticed you running that bottom, and
I don't know what
and
he expect me to give. I mean, it's the last lap. I'm gonna put everything I got to try to get the win, held my position, have a steady line.
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it was.
I noticed you running that bottom a lot, and then what was impressive is at the end there, it seemed like when you first were going after Shane, he was trying to take that away from you, and you were able to go to the outside, on a couple of corners there, and then turn around and get a run on that outside, then get the bottom under him before he could defend. And that was a great pass there. And I think he used his stuff up trying to keep you off there, where you had the speed and the tire conservation.
Yeah, I felt like it was cooling off as it was going on. It was getting better and better.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for us tonight. All of you out there in the chat, I really appreciate it. You guys coming out. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I was trying to get to 30 subscribers before this stream ended. That's a good even number. We're sitting at 29 right now, so if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that button and also give us a thumbs up. And keep coming back. We do this for you guys. We do it for the drivers. Of course, Milty and I just enjoy doing it so much. So, with that being said, yeah, we'll be here next week. Let me check the schedule here real quick. We're going to be at Homestead, Miami, so you don't want to miss that one. I'm expecting another good crowd for that one. So be sure to tune in.
Absolutely.
Be sure to tune in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Again, thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Viva Las Vegas, baby.